Hey, what is up guys, this is DJ Clan Smasher and welcome to a new episode. So what I have for you here today is a new attack that Dark Looters created, or I'm not sure if they created or not, but they for sure were the ones that showed us back in the finals for Season 2 CWL. So I've been messing around with this attack and I wanted to show you with my raids. I've been doing them for raiding purposes because I have so much elixir that I don't need it. I figured might as well learn this new air attack, this dragon attack, and test it out because it's a great attack for dipping, hitting those Town Hall 10s. It's way easier to hit those Town Hall 10s with this super strong air attack, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you exactly how to do this attack. So prepare yourself and let's get started. The other thing that I want to let you know is at the very end I'm gonna go ahead and show you an attack by fog dipping on a Town Hall 10, and I'll go ahead and walk you through it, and then I'll walk you through my attacks and show you when's the best time to deploy, what you're looking at, the entrance point, where you deploy your heroes, and where you should drop your spells. So I'm going to start off by saying this attack is very dependent on where the dragons go. The dragons kind of have a mind of their own, but the good thing is that they torch through bases. All you got to do is keep an eye out on them and see where they need the spells. For instance, if you see a place where the dragons are at, and there's a bunch of storages, you might want to rage that area. That way they can go through that area real fast and they're not hung up getting beat down by the air defenses. The other thing I want to point out is the hero deployment. The heroes, I normally tend to put them where I feel they will create the best funnel. So usually I'll put them in a spot where they can take down a few buildings, and then I'll put the dragons, for instance, right here at 3 o'clock. That way the heroes create a funnel on one side, and then I place the dragons, all 8 of them, and then the loons, and then the CC lava at the very beginning, and then I just use the Grand Warden ability pretty quickly early on in the game, just because the way I see it is if I use the Grand Warden ability, that lava hound is gonna rush straight to the first air defense. And if I'm raging on my troops will start their own funnel and start taking out the defenses that are and the storages and any building that's there. And that first lava hound is gonna just soak up so many air traps that are leading towards that first air defense. The second thing that you want to do is you go ahead and clone whichever dragon you feel needs the most help. For instance, if there's only one dragon that's taking that inferno down but it's about to die, that is probably the best place to clone it. If the middle area is like super soaked with a bunch of defenses, it's best to clone the dragon that's in the front. Always keep that in mind, guys. Clone the dragon that's closest to the defenses that are going to do the most damage, because those clone dragons aren't as valuable as the real dragons. And the reason for that is because once the time runs out, those clone dragons are going to disappear. It doesn't matter if they're fully healed or whatever, they're going to disappear. So you want to keep the real dragons. That's why you clone the first one. That way those clone dragons soak up all the damage, and they're the ones that are going to trigger those traps and everything else. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is placing the rage spells. So the rage spell, I usually tend to place one at the very beginning just so that the dragons kind of keep up with the lava hound. And then after that, it's just really dependent on where the dragons go. I tend to create that funnel. Notice how I placed the rage spell right here. And by the way, this was a level 2 lava hound, I believe. So you don't even need a max lava hound in the CC. It's just to soak up damage. And if you're using the Grand Warden at the very beginning, that lava hound's gonna survive even longer because it's gonna trigger all those traps while it's invincible. So notice here how in the middle I only had one dragon that made it to the middle. So that is the reason why I cloned that one dragon, because there's so many things in the middle where that one dragon would have just taken forever to take down all of those storages by himself. So I figured if I clone the middle, those dragons are gonna soak up all the damage. There's 2 air defenses while the other dragons are doing some work on the right side. And they don't need, they don't need to be distracted or anything. They're just taking care of all the buildings on the outside. And then I placed a rage spell where I knew they were gonna be at. So I placed the rage spell closer to the inferno, where the two loons went straight for the inferno with the rage spell. And then the other 2 dragons took out the air defense on the left side. Since I already knew that the right side was fully covered with all the dragons that are coming in right here. All, what is there, 5 right there. So I figured they would take out the air defense on the right side. I just needed to make sure that I could take care of the left one. So that's how I was able to 3-star this Town Hall 11, guys. So you can 3-star Town Hall 11s. Sometimes it's very base dependent, but check this one out. This guy is pretty stacked here. He doesn't have maxed defenses, but he is pretty stacked. He's got the expos up. He's got the air defenses all the way centralized in the middle. If I didn't know any better, I wouldn't even attack this base. But look at all that loot, guys. I figured I need these. I need this gold. I'm gonna go for it. Let's give it a shot. So notice, look at that right here. You see how that lava hound just kind of tanked some of those air traps. So then after this, I just placed the rage spell on the outer quadrant so that I can make sure that my troops went to the middle, because this is the time where you don't want the troops to go to the outside, because first of all, there's a single inferno. That single inferno will torch through your dragons. Second of all the air defenses are in the middle, so you don't want your troops just circling around while they're getting pounded by the air defense. So once I made sure that the funnel was created, those dragons went straight to the middle, started taking hits. I cloned the dragons that I thought would need the most help, and look at that. That clone dragon just took so many hits for the real dragon. That way the other dragon could just take out some buildings, some trash buildings. That way the bulk will have it easy towards the end. So right here, it's pretty much overkill, guys. There's still 5 dragons or so there, and that air defense is not going to be able to take all of those dragons. So that's pretty much it, guys. It's pretty simple. All you got to do is place the heroes down at the right spots, and then usually I tend to place the heroes where they can at least take out 1 air defense if possible, but that one, it was where they couldn't really take anything out, so you just want to create the funnel with them. You're not really going for the infernals too much unless they're single. And sometimes you can clone the balloons if you feel that is necessary. You don't necessarily have to clone the dragons all the time. It just depends on how you see the attack going. Like for instance, if you see that one loon is about to make it to the inferno and that's the only thing that's going to stop your raid, go ahead and clone that loon. That way it'll take down that inferno, and then your dragons will, have a smooth sail from there. So the reason why I personally prefer to clone at the very beginning is because if there's any traps or anything, you're going to be able to keep your whole bulk together and you get the most bang for your buck, because all of your troops are going to be in that invincibility area for the first 5 seconds. So that's more than enough time for your troops to create that funnel, get those dragons going. That lava hound just tanks so much. It can usually go for 2 air defenses, and even with a bola loon attack and stuff like that, lava hound, usually dies right away. Like, it's not going to take that many hits. So the lava hound, if you do it this way, can survive way longer and can usually go up to 2 air defenses if done correctly, or even 3 sometimes. Just depends on what's targeted. So right here, guys, it's pretty overkill. Look at those dragons. Those clone dragons in the middle are just taking hits, doing a very great job, which allows enough time to be able to take down that air defense. So notice how that clone dragon is still alive, and I still have 3 dragons or so on the bottom side. There's 1 dragon right next to the queen, and the queen's alive, guys. So this is one of those weird attacks where your heroes can actually survive. There's been times where I've had my heals fully healed, so that means that I just need my clan castle going and I can get my second attack in. So it's a pretty hardcore attack. It's real nice versus Town Hall 10s. It's definitely one of the better dip attacks. So it's pretty overpowered, guys. These dragons are invincible, it feels like. So you just need 4 rage spells. So 3 that you're taking on your own, the clone spell that you're taking, the haste, and then the rage spell that's in the clan castle. You don't need a poison or anything because these dragons have splash damage. So they're able to, go through without being stopped. They can take down any CC. You definitely want to rage when they're going against the CC, just in case there's like a baby dragon or something. But they're not going to do too much versus these dragons because they tank so much. So anyways, guys, my queen did some weird stuff on this side. I don't know if you noticed, but I was expecting her to take down that air defense, and she ended up going the opposite side. So I was going to enter this base on the other side, but because of my queen, I tried to keep her alive a little longer. I ended up entering through the 2 o'clock section. So this is the time that I actually cloned the balloons, because I figured if I clone those balloons, they're going to take down all these defenses and my dragons won't even have to worry about the infernos or anything else. So that's the one time I actually cloned the loons instead of the dragons. So notice how they're taking down everything over here on this section. All the dragons spread out throughout the base. And if you don't get the 3-star, guys, it's gonna be a solid 2-star, like a real high percentage 2-star. Even a great attack like giants with witches and the bowlers, or golems with the witches and the bowlers, like you can still get a pretty high percentage with those attacks, but sometimes it can go haywire. With this one, it's pretty solid. You can usually get a 2-star. It's rare if you get a 1-star attack with a high percentage with the dragon. So anyways, guys, as promised, this is going to be the attack by Fog, who dipped on Charlie. This was on an arranged war that Elite Gaming had versus Reddit Omega. So notice how he put in his heroes first, and then he's just waiting just to kind of create that funnel. I've been messing with it around a lot, so I don't really wait too long. I just start the dragon attack right away, and then he just kind of puts that first dragon just to kind of create a funnel, since he knew that air defense wasn't going to trigger it or get targeted by that by the dragon, or the dragon wasn't going to be targeted by the air defense. So notice how he rages, and then he waits to make sure that most of his troops are in that invincibility that the Grand Warden provides. So he did a great job there, and then the dragons are just going from there. So he's raging the sections that he feels are needed. He waits for the rest of the spells. Notice how he clones that section. It was a great clone spell right there, because then those 2 dragons are in the very front, and they're the ones that are taking most of the hits. So then after that, he just uses the haste spell as needed, and then the rage spell, and that haste was pretty well placed, because then it allowed for those dragons to go straight to the Inferno and take down all the defenses. So this is a very powerful attack, guys. You should definitely give it a go. Please like and subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I'm definitely going to provide more content. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know how it goes. This is going to be a solid 2-star or solid 3-star attack, guys, on almost any Town Hall 10 and even Town Hall 11s. So hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time, and I'll bring in another video tomorrow. Thanks again, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.